Taraweeh prayer is 20 rakats. The Sunnah prayer according to the four madhabs is 20 rakats. So stick firmly to it. Stick firmly to it. In all the four madhabs, it's 20 rakats. So much so that we would say to this extent that if somebody's really like pain in their legs, that they should even take a seat and sit down and continue praying, because it's a Sunnah Muakkada prayer. Prophet ﷺ used to love this prayer. He loved it so much, he feared that it would become wajib upon us. He thought that maybe it would become fard and wajib, then it would have been hard for us. Right? Then it would have been hard. Because then you would have to do qada of it if you missed it. But just out of his mercy, he wanted that it just be left at the level of Sunnah Muakkada. And in case that you ever missed it, there would be any qada of it. Just one note. In Masjid al-Haram, I heard somebody could let me know if it's. I heard the case right now is that they still pray 10 rakats nowadays. Okay, but 1400 years of the history of Islam, they've always prayed 20. So I just want to make a little point over there, just for us to reflect and learn from, and just for something to us to remember. They just started praying 10 like since 3 years ago, but since the history of Islam till past 3 years, since COVID time, they always prayed how many? 20. So does the Tarawih become 10 now that they started praying 10? So is a Muslim ummah bound by what the Masjid al-Haram, how great is Masjid al-Haram? أول بيت وضع للناس, right? The first house created for mankind. Earth began, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first created Masjid al-Haram. And then in one riwayah, and when it mentioned that Masjid al-Aqsa was created 50 years after, like before time, before creation. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had destined Bayt al-Haram and Masjid al-Aqsa. So just remember, of course, Masjid al-Haram is great. Its Haram is great. It's in our heart. May Allah give us tawfiq to visit it again and again. But just remember, the masjid is governed by whoever runs the whole country, right? Right? And that whoever runs the whole country can keep on changing. And whatever is in their mindset, they'll keep on changing accordingly, right? So the Muslim ummah is bound by Quran and Sunnah. We're not bound by whoever's running the Holy Land. Does that make sense? So if they've taken this step, it's an incorrect step. It's an incorrect step. The Tarawih is always 20. So pray it. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us tawfiq. Always pray it completely, inshallah. It's one of the most special Qiyamul Layl given to us, special for Ramadan, right? Besides Qiyamul Layl. Qiyamul Layl is your 8 rakats. May Allah give us tawfiq. At suhoor time, we should pray that prayer all year round, and especially during this time when we get up at suhoor, pray some Qiyamul Layl from 4 rakats to 8 rakats privately. Right? That's how that prayer is prayed. That's a Qiyamul Layl, the all year round Qiyamul Layl. And this one is the Taraweeh prayer. The Sunnah in Taraweeh prayer is that you hear the whole Quran. That's what we're all trying to be part of. So if someone leaves anywhere earlier than that, then you wouldn't hear the whole Quran. The Sunnah of Taraweeh is 20 rakats. It's also that you hear the whole Quran, and it's also that you pray it with an Imam. Three Sunnahs of Taraweeh prayer. So inshallah, we're going to do all three, inshallah. All right. Now moving on to the book. Imam Ghazali rahimahullah. The fourth principle, outward principle, is Hajj. Hajj, it says, one riwayah mentions the warning that if somebody didn't do Hajj while he had the means, then let him die as a Jew or a Christian. Let me read the riwayah. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whosoever passes away and he has not performed Hajj, then let him die if he wishes as a Jew or a Christian. This riwayah is in Riwah al-Bayhaqi. So that's a great warning. Muslims owe Hajj how many times in their lifetime? If they have the means? Once. So we have to take, if you have the means, if Allah has given you the means, you take on this journey. It's a very special journey to take on. And Umrah, by the way, in the Hanafi madhab, Hajj is fard, once in a lifetime, and Umrah is Sunnah Muakkada, once in a lifetime. But we can do Hajj and Umrah many more times if we can, if Allah has given us the means. It's a great ibadah. It has so many benefits. Sometimes people try to argue otherwise, but it's best to do these ibadats and go to the haram. Take your children to the haram, and for them to stay there. That environment has also a lot of positive effect on them. So Imam Ghazali rahimahullah, he mentions 7 etiquettes of Hajj. He said there are 7 adab that you follow when you go for Hajj. I'll quickly mention them. By the way, nobody asked me for the book, except one person. I won't say who. There's one person in this room who asked for this book. No one else did. How come? So you guys can ask for the book. Just if you're on our WhatsApp, just ask the admin. It's a free PDF. We'll give you the book. I'm not sharing everything, but you want to read the words of Imam Ghazali, rahimahullah. He's one of the very special scholars. And just reading his words that he writes, there's also it has an effect on your heart. You actually start changing. You start loving that ibadah just by reading his words. So I highly recommend. Inshallah, you message us and get the book. All right, 7 etiquettes. Number 1, seek a pious companion as well as pure, wholesome, and halal wealth for the journey. He's saying that when you're going for Hajj, and he says Hajj, I'll say Hajj and Umrah. When you're going for Hajj and Umrah, make sure who's your companion. Go with some ulama, some sulaha, some people who know more than yourself, so that you can have good company. So number 1, adab. And he said halal, wholesome provision, food. You try to eat halal when you're there. Number 2, remove any thoughts or intentions. Actually, let me go back on number 1. Sometimes I've seen people, they go for Umrah and they just inform the Imams that, yeah, I'm going for Umrah. You shouldn't do that. You should sit down and maybe learn from an Imam or somebody who has gone for Umrah before you. Take some experience. Even Imams make mistakes. Because Umrah and Hajj, it gets complicated when you're there. So you want to have the etiquette, you want to plan it out. Don't do it like a vacation. It's ibadah. What is it? Ibadah. It's like you're going for worship. You're trying to do riyadh. Riyadh means secluding yourself, just like how you do i'tikaf. So when you go there should be some kind of learning, some kind of scheduling that you do. Don't just go there, because then you'll make mistakes. Number 2, remove any thoughts or intentions of conducting business during the journey. I'll put it in our words. In today's time, meaning he's saying that don't go for other reasons like vacation, or I'm going to go shopping and I'll buy lots of perfumes and I'm going to buy like the intention of business. No, you're going there for ibadah, not for business. Number 3, be generous with your people. Meaning that when you're there, you're going to the house of Allah. You love Allah, so you love everything around Him. You love the immigration officer who meets you when you get there. You love anyone who's there. You don't talk ill, anything about the food, about the hotels, about don't say anything negative, because we love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that's His city, and these are the people of His city who are trying to host us. That's how we should go. Number 4, abstain from immoral and worldly speech and fighting, obviously doing anything irreligious, immoral. Number 5, travel on a simple conveyance so as to avoid showing one's status. Number 5 is that don't go in such a way that you try to show your status. Though you're going humbly before your Creator. And you're going to go there, put your two unsewed cloths on. You want to humble before your Creator. You don't want to go in such a lavish way that look who has arrived. So it's more like you humble yourself before Allah's door so that you can attain from His rahmah. So number 6, Imam Ghazali rahimahullah says, go easy on your horse. When nobody goes on their horses nowadays. He mentioned that point in there. He's riding it according to his time. He's like, when you're riding your donkey, get off the donkey, you start walking a little bit too. So give him some comfort. But I guess this doesn't apply to us. But you can apply this to yourself in your own way. He's riding in his own way. Last point, number 7, be happy and pleased with whatever money is spent and with whatever tiredness and loss one has to endure. Meaning that since you're in the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you all these, you're visiting the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, all the loss, the pain, whatever you go through, endure it with sabr, endure it with happiness, because coming from your beloved, it's coming from your Creator. He's given you everything. That's it, these are the 7 points. You can read them in detail yourself in the book. And the next topic here is the philosophies of Hajj, and he mentions 2 things. I'll briefly mention it. He said, number 1, Hajj is a type of riyadha. You know what riyadha means? Riyadha is when you seclude yourself, you try to cut yourself off from the world so you can develop that connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We do that in i'tikaf, we do that in salah, you're doing that now. And he's saying that Hajj and Umrah is the same. You're trying to connect with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you should remember that. And number 2, this journey has been made similar to the journey of the hereafter. So when you go for this journey, right, you wear your unsewn cloths. It kind of reminds you of when you're going to be buried. When you're going to be shrouded, you just have 2 unsewn cloths. It asks you to remove your hair. That's sort of your hair represents your pride and your adornments, and you're asked to remove your hair, right? And all your sewn cloths, and wear the unsewn cloths. So it reminds you of many aspects of the Umrah and Hajj trip. It reminds you of the Akhirah. So we should take that to heart. May Allah give us tawfiq to take this journey many times in our lives and benefit from the haram the way we should. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين.